Love him, hate him, think he's legit, or just full of shit. It doesn't really matter here. I'm only here to talk about his movies. Now it's time for Marked for Death, Seagal's third movie and second movie from the 90s. This one also came out in 1990, 8 months after Hard to Kill. This is the first one where Seagal picked up a katana blade and started slicing things up. Marked for Death marked, pun intended, the beginning for Seagal's slightly more ambiguous, bigger budget, and overall better and more memorable movies. I think here he really started to shine, and already at this point you know what to expect from a Seagal movie. Marked for Death is directed by Dwight H. Little. Only movie I can mention from him is Halloween 4. He has also done some TV work. So, the movie starts with Seagal running after Machete? Oh, hmm. I'm desperately trying to come up with a funny Machete joke. Is this a prequel of The Machete? I'm sorry. Let's move on. Seagal plays a DEA agent, basically a truck cop, doing his usual work, but something unfortunate happens. His partner dies, and Seagal's character John Hatcher doesn't want to keep following traces that lead to nowhere and that sort of stuff. He wants to retire and go back to his home in Chicago, to his family. But things have changed in Chicago. Suspicious black people. Oh, I'm sorry, now I fucked up. Suspicious looking Jamaican drug dealers have started to appear around Chicago, and we see them dealing with teenagers. John Hatcher doesn't want to bother, but his friend, played by always great Keith David, doesn't want to turn his back, and soon these two get into a shooting in a bar. Behind the shooting, there is obviously the Jamaican posse. Outside the bar, they meet some kind of a cop played by Kevin Dunn. You guys probably remember him from the first three Transformers movies. John catches one of the members, and that turns out to be a big mistake. The leader of the Jamaican posse is led by Screwface, crazy voodoo kingpin played by Basil Wallace, one of the more memorable villains in Seagal movies. Screwface and his friends do a drive-by shooting on the house where John, his sister, and sister's daughter are. The daughter gets injured, sister blames John, John feels bad, he has to do something, so he gets out of retirement, teams up with his friend Max to solve the drug problem, and finally find the right traces that lead to the main problem. John wants some answers from the Jamaican dealers. He finds one who unfortunately commits suicide. This really upsets Screwface, who marks John for death. Marked for Death was the best Seagal movie at the time. The action was improved, the director does a good job with the action scenes, and they are more entertaining than the previous ones. The best scene in the movie is the mall fight. Seagal flips and twists and beats the crap out of the Jamaicans with the help of Keith David. Bones obviously gets snapped and broken in the already traditional Seagal style. Seagal is more confident in front of the camera and his acting has improved. There finally was a serious feel of threat from the villain's side thanks to Screwface. He's given way more screen time than the previous villains, and that really helps. Seagal's character is a bit more on the bland side, not as good as the previous two characters. The music is composed by one of my favorite movie composers, James Newton Howard. His music in this one isn't memorable though. What is memorable is the reggae songs. Some well known reggae artists, like Jimmy Cliff, are heard during this movie. I like reggae, don't listen to it that much, but when I do it, it turns me to summer feelings. Reggae gives Marked for Death a more distinctive sound and feel. Fun movie that raises slightly above the first two, has aspects that just make it more memorable. I'm going to give this one still 3 out of 5 like the other two, but this one is a strong 3 out of 5. Next time, Seagal is trying to find Richie. He wants to know why Richie did Puppy Lupo. Did you guess the movie? Out for Justice. And Seagal movies just keep getting better and better.